Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Theodore Campbell, one half of Unadulterated You, and I'm here with my partner.
Hey, I'm Bianca. Nice to see you guys tuning in.
So, we got another topic for you people, and we want to know what you think about this. Understanding the nature of people. Now, me personally, I feel this is a big deal because I had to learn this maybe a year or two ago, and I don't know how many people watch our videos, but I usually give credit to the people where the credit is due. And I learned this from Ron Carpenter. And he did a series back in the day called Difficult People. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, it changed my life because he really broke down understanding the personalities and what people bring to the table and not putting certain expectations on people that not supposed to be there. So Bianca, what do you think about that? What do you think about the expectations of people and the nature of people?
So as far as the nature of people, it's very as far as nature, I think it's broad that we're all human and we all make mistakes. Okay. That's across the board. But as far as different people's nature, it's really dependent on how they grew up, um, some environmental factors, generational type stuff. And so it's a lot to take into consideration when I'm trying to understand you specifically. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of effort to understand an individual, one specific individual one by one. So I don't really know what's the trick there. Like, how do you understand the nature of people? What are you?
Well, to be honest with you, you hit it right on the nail because you was talking about people's upbringing and stuff like that. When you first meet a person for the first time, let's say you meet somebody who's an adult, you're an adult. They went, let's just use a ballpark age of 25.
Mhm.
You're 25, they're 25. You have not known them for 25 years. You don't know what they have gone through. You don't know what drama they have gone through.
Yeah.
So you trying to, think of what their thought process is and how they look at things and circumstances. You can't really do that because you don't know what upbringing they have or what comes with them. So you kind of have like some kind of compassion because you don't know what comes with them.
Yeah. And so I think it should be like I said, that broad some general rules like when dealing with people, we should all have because it should be that we're gonna just have compassion and give grace across the board because we don't know. It's so much that we don't know. We think we know something, but 9 times out of 10, you meet a person, you really may know. Even if they tell you a bunch of stuff, you may know 10% of who they really are because there's probably some stuff they push to the back, you know what I'm saying, or some stuff
Right.
they just don't want to talk about, or some stuff they've gone through that you just don't even understand. You couldn't understand because it's not your perspective, it's theirs. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, I think it should just be a general um uh mindset to just kind of be able to work with an individual on whatever level, and that does require compassion and actually requires love and consideration. And you just to be able to treat them how you want to be treated. I know way back we started on this type of note, you know with our videos, just
Right.
about talking about having that compassion and stuff and love for one another. And just to be honest, sometimes that's very difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can tick you, and I know because it happens. Like, it's upsetting. So you just gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta take a deep breath, like I just did, and if you have said, I think if you agree with yourself or go into something thinking or being compassionate or giving that grace, then I think it'll go a better way.
Right. You're absolutely correct because like me, from my upbringing, bringing, I grew up with both my parents. I had two loving parents. They're not perfect, but I mean, they put a lot of value inside of me. So when you meet people who might not have both of their parents, maybe they grew up with just their mom and they don't have their father, or maybe some people don't have neither parents. They grew up with their grandmother, or let's let's keep it gangster. You grew up in the streets. You ain't have none of that.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta be able to decipher the differences between people and their upbringing and what values was put inside of them.
Let me,
Because, huh? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think so. You got your New York hat on. We know Teddy. He's from
New York, BX all day, Boogie Down Bronx.
yeah.
Yo,
He's from New York. I'm
Tremont Avenue.
from
Yo, what up?
Alabama. You know what I'm saying? From Alabama, but
Alabama, whatever.
not
But
really
go ahead. Go ahead.
typical Alabama person. I don't think, but it doesn't matter. We're
Right.
when it comes to environment, we're very different that way. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so you may not have a lot of patience with what you think I'm doing is maybe slower. You know what I'm saying? You may think she doesn't move fast enough or something. I don't know. I really don't know your perspective. But that's the thing, it's so many factors that we can
Right.
even
Right.
begin to know when it comes to interacting with people, you know, on the job or of course in relationship or wherever you frequent, you are interacting with people in traffic. You don't know what the heck's going on. You don't know these people. You don't know how they
Right.
grew. And like when you mentioned about growing up in the streets, we don't know what that looks like.
Right.
Not saying me and you, but I'm just saying we don't know what that person and any individual went through. Because I can say I grew up in the streets, and you say you grew up in the streets. It was a whole nother streets. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. That's why we got to be willing to give that grace and have that love. The love is a big thing to me. We talk a lot of stuff, but if you can have that love for others like you love yourself, I think that's the most important.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we were just talking about on the physical level, but it also goes to the spiritual level because at the end of the day, we're all human, and there's some certain things that we deal with as human beings that are already in our nature. We already born into this life with a sin nature. So even though you might even be distilled into you with certain values, you might even been grown up in church, but there's a sinful nature that's born inside of you because you're born into a sinful world that
Can I stop because you said
okay.
growing up in church and sin nature?
Mm-hmm.
We often relate sin and all that being saved and all that to church. And I just wanna like if we can this year, like kind of step outside of that and think
Okay,
like
that's cool.
sin nature definitely is real. And I think that it is a
Right.
lower state of being, you know, lustful desires, desires to steal and kill or those types of actions are really like a lower state of consciousness. And I think that we should make that connection because when people say sin, it seems like we don't even really know what that is. But I think it's like those lower things, like I said, those lustful desires. And when you come out of that mindset or ascend from that, you know what I'm saying, have a higher state of consciousness, now you are no longer that, right? So that's why I
Right.
kind of want to make that connection because a lot of people don't even go to church. Church
Right. Right.
church is not even in their vocabulary, and that's cool. It's not a problem because I haven't been to church in I don't know how long.
Me neither.
I don't
Me
know how
neither.
long. So I kind of don't even
Right.
really relate to the church thing right now.
Right. Right.
But you
Right.
know, that's what I'm saying. Like when you say sin nature, it's true that when we're born, we literally are born into that lower state of consciousness because of whatever reason, societal factors, whatever. It's out there. You turn on the TV, you see sex, drugs, killing on the TV.
Right.
You turn on the game, it's there. It's there. It's everything is there. You scroll on your phone, it's there. So yeah, that's where our mind is kind of trained to kind of live in that. But
Right.
we can, come out of that. That's why I know like you taking a bunch of breaks from social media and stuff like that. And it really clears your head and grounds you, right?
Sure does.
So yeah, I know you were making a point, but I just really wanted to stick that in there because, so everybody can relate.
That was actually a really good point because I just had a situation a week ago where this isn't a church situation, but it's a people situation where I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, I'm single. I went on a date and the person did something that I thought was very selfish. Now, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't like what they did, but at the same time, I have to understand that this is a human nature. It's human nature to be selfish. All of us are selfish. Bianca has selfish moments. I have selfish moments. All people. It don't matter. I've seen situations where my mom did some selfish stuff, and my mom is the greatest Christian in the world. She can float on air, but at the end of the day, human nature.
Mhm.
So at the same time, I have to look at that situation where, okay, I don't agree with what they did or what they said, but human nature kicks in where, okay, I get why you looked at your side greater than everything else because that's what humans do. We're
Yeah.
selfish.
I think that's fine. I think that you should have some selfish moments, and I think you should take care of you if nobody else does. Only you could take care of you like you would. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So with that said, I think it's totally fine. And we have been trained to, stray away from selfishness. How dare you think about yourself more than me? I even heard a lady say, she said, and I know I shared it with you. Remember, she said, it was a guy and a girl talking, and or whoever, two individuals talking, and it was like, "Yo, you so selfish because all you think about is yourself." And the lady said, "Well, you want me to think about you and you think about you?"
Oh,
So
that was a good
that's
comeback.
yeah, that's selfish. You know what I'm saying? If
Right.
anything, and when you hear that statement, every man for themselves, listen, you can't blame nobody if you don't handle your business, if you don't take care of you. You cannot blame anybody if you continue to be the doormat. Eventually you have to stand up for yourself. You can't keep
That's
letting
right.
people walk all over you. And that's period. I mean, do you care about yourself? You know what I'm saying? So with that said, I think it's totally fine to have that. And like you said, the nature of people is that they want you to think about them and them think about them. And the world should revolve around just them. But the thing is, the world is revolving around each and every one of us. And it's up to us to delegate that. We have the power to choose, you know what I'm saying, where we center our attention. And I think
Right.
it's important to, you got to put yourself first. And then that's how you can help others. That's just what I think.
I
You
mean,
do
nothing's
it.
wrong with
You
that
do
because,
it. Don't
huh?
act like you
What you
don't.
said?
You may not speak it, but you do it. Be honest.
All of us do it. All of us do it. But I think the point that Ron Carpenter was making in his series is that once you get to that point where you realize that all of us do it, you don't take it so personal when it happens to you
That's great.
because you understand that that's just what we do. We are all human.
That's great. That's the point I think we should really land on right there is that it's not personal.
Right.
Each and every one of us are humans. And actually, you know, we're spiritual people living, existing in this body, you know what I'm saying, of human nature. It is what it is. Don't be upset with somebody for taking care of them
Right.
or choosing them in some moments or sometimes having those flawed moments because that's gonna happen too. But we all
Mm-hmm.
just human, not just, but we're all human. And so yeah, I like what he said is just not to take it personal. That's the point right there.
Exactly.
Cause
Like for
we be
example,
taking it personal. Cause I do. I don't know. Sometimes I'm
exactly.
not as bad on it now, but it's something you have to train yourself out of.
Right. Right.
It comes with
Like, for example,
right.
like I'm gonna use a small example. Like, we're filming this video right now, right?
Mhm.
It's Thursday afternoon. Let's say it's the evening time. Bianca could tell me, let's meet up at 6:30. I can't take it personal and be like, well, why she wanted to be at 6:30? Because I gotta go do something with my friend at 6:45. But it wasn't that serious. That's just the time that worked for her. She wasn't trying to hurt me in any type of way, but it was just she was taking care of stuff at her household, and 6:30 was the time that was a good time. But if you're gonna take it personal and be like, well, I got something to do at 6:45, why she picked 6:30, and then you take it personal, and that's what we do all the time. When Bianca wasn't even thinking about it like that. We discussed it. We was like, what time are we gonna record this video? And she said 6:30. She ain't know nothing about what I had to do at 6:45. So again,
That's crazy.
but that's what we do all the time, right?
Yeah.
We
So
take
not
stuff
about the
personally.
time, but this literally happens where it's like a situation where you just automatically get offended because, and I've automatically gotten offended because, let me tell you a situation. And we was gonna do a trip, right?
Oh, okay.
This has happened to me both ways, when I was married and when I wasn't, or when I was single, right?
Right.
So being single, they're like, oh, let's do a couples trip. How could she ever think to do a couples trip knowing I ain't got nobody? And then on another note, where the girls are single and they're like, oh, you can't bring your husband. So both times it's like a place where you can get offended. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not even trying to consider me. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. And it's not that I was stuck in that or anything, but those are good examples because that's how easy somebody can be triggered off of. Nobody, people don't even mean no harm. Like, what? Why
You
you
know
like that?
you know why I'm making this face? Because I was in a situation just like that, and you know who I'm talking about.
I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah, I was in that situation already, and you know what I'm talking about. But I don't take it personal because they was looking
It's
at
the
it from
nature
their
of that
perspective.
person. Yeah, that's the nature of that.
They were looking at it from their perspective, and I was not in the position to do a couples trip. I'm not a couple. I'm single. Like, what are you doing? Hey,
Yeah.
you know. But again, they didn't mean the bad. They meant well. But like, what are you
Yeah, and
doing
that's the
here?
thing, when I think about that, I think for the benefit of the doubt, people really do mean well a lot of times. Now, if
Right.
does it override sometimes and you going past your boundaries and stuff? Yeah. But I understand that people mean well, and sometimes it just takes for you to communicate with them, your point of view. And
Right.
going forward, it doesn't happen anymore because now we have communicated and we got a better understanding of each other.
Right.
So sometimes you be like, I don't even want to talk about it. And you just want to just not deal with it. But if you feel like it's worth it, then have the conversation.
Well, like I said, since I learned the nature of people and I understand that most people mean well, when I get into these situations, it don't bother me as much. Like, because I understand that they mean well. They're not trying to play me, or I just understand what it is. Like that's just the nature of people. People are just who they are, and you have to learn to love people. What comes with them? Like, there's good sides of people and there's bad sides of people.
And that's fine.
Right.
We got to be okay with the good and the bad, the light and the dark. It's a balance in it all, and we know this. So that's fine. You know what I'm saying? And if it's bothering you so much, step away. But I think a lot of confrontations and blow-ups and stuff could be avoided if we just, like you said, understand the nature of people and know It was something you said Ron Carpenter said. I just got the wrong.
Well, I know. I wish I can get the scripture that he was talking about, but he was talking about that everybody has a field and everybody has a treasure,
Mm-hmm.
and the treasure is mounted into the field. So you can't get the treasure unless you go into the field.
Hmm.
So a lot of people want the treasure of people, but they're not willing to go into the field. So if you want the best of me, you have to deal with the worst of me at the same time.
Deep.
You just can't get the best of me and say, okay, well, Teddy Campbell plays drums. I just want the drumming. Well, you have to deal with the
The snappy
side of
teddy.
me that's antisocial and don't want to deal with people sometimes.
The snappy teddy.
Exactly. Like I'm acting right now. I don't want to deal with folks. You got to deal with the both sides of me.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the treasure in me, you got to deal with the field because the treasure is in the field.
Okay, now we're gonna end right there. That was good. I'm telling you, you were preaching the whole time, and I love it. So
Shout out to Ron Carpenter because he did that. He did that.
You guys, please let us know what you think. This is a pretty good topic, Teddy. So thanks for that, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit us up on social media, comment down below, press like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Yeah, be blessed, everybody.